Welcome back, everybody, to the Global Renaissance podcast. As always, no, I'm mess up.
Anyway,
No,
welcome back everybody to another episode of the Global Renaissance podcast.
where we have thoughtful conversation on society and self.
As always,
I'm your host, Trev Woods.
I'm your host, Trev Woods. Today, I am joined by probably my biggest hater. It's a long list of haters, but I think she's at the top. Harvard class of 2022, Miss Brooklyn 2023, former Division I track runner, future incoming med student. Miss Codi Ann Reid, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. It's good to be back in the
I was
towns.
about to say, back, you ain't been on before.
No, I was in back in the towns.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's good to be back in town.
I am glad you are enjoying your return to Boston.
Yes, thank you.
Did you miss it?
I didn't miss it, but now that I'm here, I'm just like, wow. I could have done like a semester more of school.
Fair enough. For today's conversation, so she wanted to be surprised. I can't stand. No, I shouldn't say I can't stand it, but people like, I want to come on the podcast. What do you want to talk about? I don't know. Surprise me. Okay, let's make Trevor do all the work. That's fine. I guess it is my podcast. Anyway, for today's conversation, we are going to be talking about finding your fit. So Miss Codi is Jamaican. You were born here, but then you went right back, right?
Government, if you're listening, that's false information.
They can't take away your citizenship now. You're a naturalized citizen.
We don't know who's going to hold the power in a few months.
You were born here. Like, that's a constitutional right. If you were born here, you're a citizen.
I would hope so. I don't know the Constitution.
Well, I do. You're welcome.
Good job.
Shout
Thank
out
you.
to Gov30.
Shout out to my lawyer.
So, yeah, I wanted to talk about finding your fit. I think that is, we were talking about a few things the other day that I feel like this can be topical for. So let's start with the Jamaicanness. She likes to call me a fake Jamaican, which, fair enough. I have never claimed to be culturally Jamaican. My father was born in Jamaica, so ethnically.
In school, he had a Jamaican flag that was as big as...
Did you want me to have an American flag in my room?
You have an American flag on your sweater right now.
All right, but this is, I just, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Why would
Fitting.
why would I keep an American flag up in my room? Like, that has a certain, like,
So why would you
connotation.
keep a Jamaican flag up in your room?
Because it looked good. And it's like, again, I can't put an American flag up because that doesn't
You
really...
can.
I could.
I've seen it.
What type of people put up American flags? Be realistic.
Americans.
What? Keep going. Be more specific.
Americans.
Be more specific.
Personas from los Estados Unidos.
You couldn't say de.
No.
Anyway, I'm gonna keep the Jamaican flag up. I'm not taking it down. I don't have people on TikTok talking about take down the Jamaican flag. It's like, no.
And you know what?
Come get it.
I'm going to find your TikTok and I'm going to go in the comments and also...
I appreciate the engagement.
You're welcome.
You know what I'm saying? All press is good press, as they say. But yeah, let's talk about how being a Jamaican in America, what is that? How does that, I mean, your identity versus your, I guess, cultural surroundings, what does that interplay like?
Well, when I first moved to the country, it was not a hard transition just because the high school that I went to, the principal was also Jamaican, the vice principal was Jamaican. I was around all of my family, they were Jamaican. I was in Canarsie/Flatbush in Brooklyn, so it's a huge Caribbean population, which was fine. But I noticed that the change came when I got to Harvard, where I was a minority within the minority. And it's great, too, because, like, BU, Tufts, Northeastern, like, they're all around, and the Jamaican clubs, like the CSO, Caribbean Student Organizations, in that vicinity is great. But I was able to, like, kind of find my cultural niche around those people.
So, in terms of, like, the disparity, how do you feel like the culture is different between, like, because you said you were a minority within the minority, so how do you feel like you, I guess, interacted with the black community outside of your Jamaican peers? Like, what was the like, oh, I don't know, like, these aren't my people? Is that, like, the feeling?
It was. I was on Omo Naija, which is a Nigerian dance team at school. And so like I was just surrounded by Nigerians.
There's a lot of them.
A lot of
I think 50%
Nigerians.
of the black population at Harvard
I
is
think
Nigerian.
50 is an
Really?
underrepresentation. Yes. Not no hate to my Nigerians. I love my Nigerians. I love Niger always. No wahala. No wahala. Um, but no wahala. No wahala. Do you know what wahala
You,
is? Trouble. No trouble.
they were the Trouble Boys.
Wahala boys here. Trouble boys.
Okay.
But yeah, so I think the difference came, especially with me as a creative. Wow, I call myself creative.
Taking credit for that.
Was like the dancing and stuff, because I think a very taboo topic also is like the way that Caribbean people dance. Like,
Oh, can we please get into that? Can we please get into that? Your miss don't sexualize my culture.
right?
So, are you telling me that there's nothing sexual about catching a wine?
No,
Nothing
nothing
in any context.
in any context, unless like obviously it's your like partner, and so you guys know, you know. But
No other context.
no, between two Caribbean people who like know what it is, like a fet, a wine, like no. What do you think?
I think it depends on the context. I think it can be just a dance, but I also think if y'all are feeling each other, then it becomes.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
But that's what I'm saying. I feel like people be like, "Oh, well, it's just a date." Sometimes, but not always.
Most of the time, if it's two Caribbean people who know what a fet is, who know what juve and jumping is, it's literally just dancing. The lyrics of the songs can be questionable.
Questionable. They straight up out of pocket, bro. Like, like.
You're not wrong.
I
Well,
know I'm not
no,
wrong.
you're not wrong. But like, we don't, like, a lot of the times too, like, we'll be singing the songs and we don't even know what we're saying. We're just like, we know the beat, we know the rhythm, so we're like, but we don't know what we're saying.
Whatever. Whatever. I think, personally, based on my observations, I think that you're underselling the sexual nature of these dances and whatnot. But hey, what do I know? I'm a fake Jamaican, so this is just me,
Yes.
my outside opinion,
There we go.
just observing.
Mhm.
But I do think that your personal connection to the culture doesn't allow you to like take a step back and look at it and be like, can I really evaluate what's happening here? So that's just my opinion. Y'all can disagree with me if you want, but I think I'm right.
Leave in the comments if you think that a wine is just a wine. And it's the non Caribbean folk that over sexualize the Koch and the Benova and the one drop.
Whatever. Anyway, keep going. You was talking about dancing and culture and
Yeah, so that was a bit different from me, like doing all the legwork and that sort of thing. And it was interesting how like a lot of the spaces were like coined as black spaces, or like black organizations were mostly headed by Nigerians. But over time I made a lot of Nigerian friends and it was cool. But I did miss the food. Um, Jamaican food in Boston is not Jamaican food. It's, I don't know what it is, but they're just using the word Jamaican XYZ to sell. Flames, don't come for me.
that's a hot take. That's a super hot take.
No, Jamaican food in Boston is not.
That's a super hot take. Cause it's like these are actual Jamaicans, like who own the restaurant.
Okay, but maybe they're changing the recipes to appeal to the Boston crowd.
Is it better in New York?
Yes.
New York niggas always think they're better than us, so it's like it's whatever. Okay, so you miss your food.
Mhm.
So eventually, did you feel like did you come to terms with the difference, or did you just like?
I came to terms with the difference because I knew that long term I would be living in a space where people are not going to be like me, which is fine. And like I never had hatred towards anybody to begin with, but it just kind of felt like I genuinely felt like I didn't have anybody I could connect with. So when I got back to New York and I was around like Jamaican people again, I felt like I could be myself.
You felt like you couldn't be yourself in school.
Not 100%, no.
Why?
Because I was fearful of being judged in a negative light.
Why?
Because I cared about other people's opinions.
But why did you think they were gonna judge you negatively just for being you?
Because they were already like, oh my gosh, who is this Jamaican girl with the speaker playing Spice and Shensia in the dining hall, scooting around with the music just blasting, screaming and loud, and like I could have added to that, and it would have been
But do you think that was a negative perception?
yes,
Really?
yeah, because people could find that like annoying or like boisterous.
That's fair.
Yeah,
That's interesting. So what changed? What allowed you to stop caring about that?
it was stifling. Uh, I just felt like you can only put on that facade for so long.
True.
But then senior year too, I feel like I was over everybody and everything. I wanted to get out of school.
Mm-hmm.
So like between me growing out of school as well as getting older, I'm just like I gotta be myself because you only have one life to live, and God forbid I live it for somebody else or to please other people.
Facts.
Crazy.
Oh, that's insane. The point about I think showing up as yourself is an important one. I felt like when I was really young, like I feel like probably about middle school. That's when I was in the peak of my trying to, you know what I'm saying, alter how I show up. After that point though, because I grew up in a lot of white spaces, so it's like
We can tell.
we could fight.
Ready?
Sit your ass down. Anyway, but yeah, I grew up in a lot of white spaces, so obviously, like the difference, I don't know, is super stark. Well, at least yeah. Once I got to middle school, so I went to private school.
He went to private school. You hear that, folks?
They knew that. Enough. Enough. So it was definitely like when I got there, I was like, dang, like this is different. Well, actually, let me backtrack because even when I was in public school, the black kids I was around were different than me. And then
Because he came from private school.
no, bro, I started in public school, then went to private school. But it's like,
So you was bad?
huh?
You was bad?
I got suspended in 5th grade,
For what?
bullying allegedly.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, I didn't bully nobody. I think it was a racial thing. Not even I think it was a racial thing, but I was like one of 3 black kids in my like 5th grade class. So it was like, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, after that, my parents were like, "Yep, you're gone. Go to private school." So once I got there, it was like, ooh, like it was probably 150 kids in our 7th grade, and then our 8th grade class, and out of 150 of us, there was like probably 8 to 10 black kids. So it's like immediately you're like, oh. So you got to kind of figure out how to navigate that. So I think for a while I was trying to like be somebody I wasn't. But after that, I was like, man, fuck all y'all. I don't care. If you don't like me, that's your problem. I kind of like being a villain anyway. So
I'm glad he confessed that. Oh my gosh, we have that on video.
I feel like I've admitted to that a long time ago. Like I love being
Not to
an
me.
antagonist. Really? You probably just don't remember. You don't listen to me, so
Did you just hear the way that you introduced me to your folks?
you're a hater. Are you not? You be hating like crazy. Am I wrong? Am I lying?
Yes.
Whatever.
Oh my gosh, he's Jamaican. He just gets his teeth. Do it again. Do it again.
Oh my goodness. Let's be for real.
I'm being so for real right
Can
now.
we be for real?
Okay.
So anyway, yeah, I'm an antagonist. So it's like after a certain point, it's like if you don't like me, as a matter of fact, I would rather you not like me than just not even perceive me. You get what I'm saying? Like
That's
feel
fair.
like,
Yeah.
I feel like all attention is good attention. So I mean, I was the same way in the nigga, I was loud. Like,
Very loud.
I was loud. You was gonna hear me, and it's like nobody ever said anything about it. As a matter of fact, I think people enjoyed it. So don't make that face. Anyway, I have lots of friends, guys. Everybody love Chad. Shout out to the dining hall folks.
Shout out Margaret.
Shout out to Alvin. He came and hoop with us one time.
Really?
Yeah, we were playing intramurals. Back-to-back intramural champions. Didn't get a trophy or nothing. Sick.
Sprained his ankle and everything. Speaking of. Why are you laughing?
Because I remember when I sprained my ankle. That was no bueno. But you're a real one.
You're welcome.
I appreciate you.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of athletics, let's dig into this your track career. Let's dig into your track career because
Trauma.
initially I was gonna call this episode or kind of center the episode around adversity,
Mm-hmm.
and I was thinking about your track career. So can you tell us about you as a track athlete? Tell us about your story, and then we can kind of get to what happened when you were in school.
Okay, so I started track when I was about 10, 11 in Jamaica. I was at a sports day one day. Sports day. Every school in Jamaica has a sports day, centered around track and field. Um, and I was running one day, and my former coach, went to my mom, was like, "Oh, she can't run." My mother was like, "Oh, okay," and then she put me on the track. I was actually, a lot of people don't know this, but I was actually a swimmer, and so
You could swim.
yeah, and so I was swimming,
I didn't
and
know that.
the swim coach noticed that I wasn't coming to like practice as often, and so the swim coach literally like wrote a letter to my mom telling her that she should let me not do track and do swimming because I was really good. Um, but I did track anyway. I loved the meets and I loved my teammates at the time. And then I saw a sand pit, and as an 11-year-old, like of course you're gonna want to go into a sand pit.
Mm.
So I started a long jump, but then I started getting like a lot of ankle injuries, which was fine.
That's how you know how to train.
Anyways, right. So shout out Deion Hemmings. If you know, you know. A Jamaican Olympian, period, gold medalist hurdler. So essentially, like she started introducing me to hurdles, and then I ended up doing hurdles in high school in Jamaica. So high school in Jamaica starts 7th grade. Started hurdles there. It was good. The environment was kind of shaky, but
What do you mean by that?
it was slightly toxic.
Coaches.
Yeah, and the teammates, and like we're all from different places, like coming together in one high school. So there was a lot of clash
Gotcha.
in backgrounds. But I started to hurdle, and it was so good. Then I moved to the U.S. and them hurdles, like I was flying over those hurdles. Like I was so good. Shout out Natalie, my hurdle coach in high school, super nice. And then I broke my clavicle. I fell down, not over hurdles, but
Some stairs.
train station stairs. I was running for the train and to get my braces, and here I am now,
With
years
braces.
later with braces.
Imagine.
And I was about to go down like the second flight of steps, and I literally just flew. And then second to last step, I heard, yeah, and I hit my head too. So I was sort of
That's pretty
unconscious for
bad.
like I was unconscious for like about 15 seconds, and I came to. My mom was there, so she was like, "Oh my gosh, why? We picked the drop, why?" And like I was fine. We like swiped into the train station, everything after that to go get my braces, and then I realized that my arm was really hurting me, and then I took like my coat off because this was like right after my birthday, so March. This time, still kind of cold.
Yeah.
Um, and you could see like the bone sticking up. And so, she called ambulance, had to bring my sister back to school because, it was just my mom and didn't have anywhere to bring my little sister. I didn't know that Farian had potholes until I went to ambulance. Like,
Really? You ain't never been on the roads?
yeah, but like highways and nice roads and stuff.
Oh.
Compared to Jamaica, like when I was in the ambulance, I swore I was in Jamaica. But my collarbone, and then my hurdle coach left because I was the only person she was training at the time. So the option was, continue hurdles, but like not with a hurdle specific coach, or do triple jump. With Nicola Marshall Guyanese, triple jumper, Olympian, period. I was trained by a lot of
I was
Olympians.
about to say, not you had the
Yeah.
best of the best.
And like in a short time span, like learning triple jump from scratch, I literally became like the top triple jumper in New York City. And I was top triple jumper straight in New York City until senior year, where I was doing hurdle hops. And this time I sprained my ankle going over a hurdle, so I missed states. And then all of outdoors, I just never really recovered. So then when I got to Harvard, I was, you know, getting back off of the injury, but I feel like I rushed into it too fast because I was so eager to compete with my teammates and stuff that long jump penultimate step, I just went down a little bit too hard, came up when I landed. I literally could not move. And I was sitting in the sand for like 2 minutes straight. And when I got up, I realized that like something was wrong with my back. And like I was like literally hobbling. I could not walk regularly. And then did scans, had a slipped L5S1 disc and in my spine and just never got back to it.
Crazy. You have so much potential. I didn't even know you was that nice. I'm not gonna hold you. I didn't know you was that nice.
I still have a record for USATF triple jump in high school for yeah. Still hasn't been broken yet. I was nice for real.
I never knew this.
Google me.
Never knew this.
Google me. Just not college stats though, high school stats,
There
because
aren't
we
any.
know. Yeah, I mean there are like a few, because like I tried competing, but I was just always in pain.
Yeah. So, having been doing track since you were like 10,
Mhm.
and then going through being at an elite level in high school, getting recruited to go run in college, and then not being able to compete,
Mhm.
how did that affect you mentally?
It affected me a lot, a lot, a lot. I hate, and the thing is, like, we still had to go to practice,
Mm-hmm.
but like do rehab. So I'd be there like on a bike when my teammates were jumping, and it made me feel some type of way. It sucked. It really did. I didn't want to be there. Um, but I knew that I had to show up for my teammates. And like I made like I didn't have to be there, as in like I could have just said I'm not doing track anymore and stopped. But I knew that I still wanted to be in that space because at the end of the day, like track is like one of my loves,
Mm-hmm.
one of my babies, and even in my future career as a future orthopedic surgeon,
Period.
I still want to work with athletes. That's why I want to do orthopedics. And I had a lot of bone injuries between my back, my shins, my ankles. Like, I want to also help young athletes as well
Mm-hmm.
so that they hopefully don't have to go through the same things that I did.
Mm-hmm. I feel like you have had a lot of experiences where you're in a group,
Hmm.
but not really a part of the group. Have you contended with that? Have you thought about that?
I have. I mean, it's literally been part of my whole life. But I have to do it. I have to do.
No, no, no. Let's dive into that.
Dive into what?
This idea, because I think it's kind of an idea of liminality, right? When you're kind of in between two places.
Hmm.
Again, being in the black community at Harvard, feeling like, dang, I don't really connect with these people. Being on the track team, but feeling like, dang, I'm kind of off to myself.
Hmm.
What are you telling yourself about you when you start to feel like that?
So me's a hot gal. I'm gonna need for bear with them people here.
Are you gonna answer the question for real?
Answer the question.
Are Answer the question for real.
What was the question?
When you feel like I'm in this space, I'm
Hmm.
here, but I don't really feel a part of it. What are you telling yourself about you? What are you telling yourself about the people you're around?
Um, I mean, you could take it two ways. You could think that you're the problem, or you could think that the people are the problem.
I'm talking about how did you take it though?
People are the problem.
Okay, say more.
Why are you pushing me right now?
Because we came on the podcast to talk. Remember, thoughtful conversations about society and stuff.
And
You,
self.
you thought you was just gonna come on here and say a little ha ha ha, call it a day?
Yes.
No, that's not the point of the Listen, the point of this is that I feel like we don't think critically enough about ourselves as a collective, just in general in the world. And there's a lot of things that we all go through as individuals, but they relate to what other people are going through and the things that we went through at this time relate to the things we're currently going through, right? So I think it's very important to talk through those things, especially in a public manner, because everybody's going through some shit and everybody always feels like they gotta hide it.
Right.
Nobody's really talking honestly about it. So I feel like it's important for everybody.
I like your earrings.
Thank you. I think it's important. I think it's important for us to open up that kind of dialogue. And I kind of hate that phrase. Let's start a dialogue, but I do think it's important for people to get comfortable on a societal level, just expressing themselves, examining themselves,
Yeah.
and having those interactions with other people where you're allowing yourself to be open and honest so that we can get to know each other better and we can build community better. Because realistically, when you feel like you're the only one going through something, it's a lonely feeling.
Yeah.
And it's difficult to overcome that. So I feel like it's important to really like dive deep into how did this make me feel? What was my experience? What did I learn from it?
Somebody tell Trevor in the comments that he needs to go to school to be a therapist.
No thanks.
Right. So, to answer your question, I did feel lonely. I did feel left out. But looking back, I didn't realize the type of grace that people were granting me, because I was so blinded by like all of my hurt and my pain that I just thought that everybody was against me. But there were some genuine people, you included, who you're welcome.
You're welcome.
Who really tried to help me.
Yeah.
And guide me and allow me to sort of like express my emotions because, being a Jamaican, this is one of the cons, we don't really talk about emotions that much. Like depression is not a thing. Mental health issues are not things. And so just being able to like learn about that as I grew through school and even after school, like right now, that has been very rewarding. So yeah, I did feel hurt. I did feel like I did that by myself. But in the end, I realized that there were people that were there. Not everybody is against me. Not everybody is against you. Allow the people who are in your space to feed you, to pour water on you, to help you grow because no man is an island.
Do you feel like you have a difficult time accepting help?
No, not anymore. I did.
How did you overcome that?
How did I overcome that? I think just maturity, like realizing that I don't know everything.
True.
Realizing that I can't do everything by myself. And so, like, once I had those people who actually trusted, then I was able to open up and ask for help.
Are you slow to trust?
Yes.
Why? Nah, never mind. Don't answer why. Never mind. But how difficult is it to like have solid relationships with people, friendships, right? When you are slow to trust people.
It's extremely difficult.
So
I'm case in point.
Well, I know.
Right.
But I was
for the people.
Yeah. I'm not asking for me. I know the answers to all these questions.
Oh, so yeah, ask me then for.
Huh?
Yeah? See? Not Jamaican. Why you asking me?
So you can explain.
What was the question?
Was it difficult? How difficult was it to foster really solid relationships with people?
I think it's very difficult. To me, personally, there was a period of time where I was just like one and done. So you did something and it affected me or it hurt me or hurt my feelings, goodbye. I don't forgive. Forgiveness was not in my book. But the Lord,
I was about to say,
the Lord delivered me. And I learned to forgive because who am I that I can't forgive somebody for stepping on my shoes when I'm out here sinning? And God's like, I forgive you. Like, as far as the east is from the west, your sins. Like, he remembers your sins no more. So, for me to not be able to forgive, crazy. Is it still hard to forgive? Yes. It's definitely harder to forget. And so I think a lot of times, too, if I'm having conversations with people, some things might trigger me to remember what happened. And then I have to sort of, like, ground myself and be like, okay, that was the past. The person has not done anything else to, like, prove that they're untrustworthy. Or maybe they didn't even prove themselves untrustworthy. They just did, made a mistake. And so that's something that I really had to grapple. And I also had to realize, too, that I made mistakes. And I'm not the easiest person for him to deal with.
Headache. She's pretty though.
Yeah, so I just really had to learn all of those things. But I think it came with experience and maturity. So
is there something right now that you're working on? Like you feel like this is my current like thing that I'm trying to tackle?
No, not really. Just because I think that I have so much other stuff going on,
Yeah.
like the med school decision, I gotta
Mhm.
make that out, and that comes with like where am I gonna live? Am I gonna be needing to get a car, loans? It's
There's
just
a
I
lot.
have a lot on my mind right now, so
Yeah.
I haven't been. But like before, it was definitely communicating how I felt about certain things and allowing people to know what the problem is.
Mhm.
Because I'll have a problem with you. Well, pause. We don't got problems with nobody, and that's on per. But you'll do something, and I won't tell you that you did something, but my actions will change, and that's not healthy at
Right.
all. So I learned how to communicate better, and I'm still working on that.
Mhm.
But I think I paused it because I'm going through a lot of other stuff.
Yeah, I feel like I have that same problem. Not problem, but it's like there's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You're trying to, you're very goal oriented, right? In
Mhm.
order to get to a certain place, you just become goal oriented,
Yeah.
and it's just like I'm laser focused on trying to figure this stuff out. Like,
Mhm.
who was I talking to? Oh, you know what? Even with the podcast, right?
Mhm.
During January, I ain't record nothing because I'm like I was doing apps. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? I don't have time to think about
Yeah.
recording. I just have to get this done. But I've also felt like, at least for me personally, when I get into that mode of go, 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 go,
Mhm.
go, 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 I'm gonna crash at some point.
Yeah.
It always happens where I go, I go, I go, I go, I go, and at some point or another, everything that I've been ignoring hits me all at once. I'm like, damn, I'm stuck. And that can often be a tough hole to dig myself out of. Um, and those are the times I'll isolate the fuck out of myself. Like, don't talk to me. I'm not talking to nobody. Don't text me. Don't call me.
But if I call him, he gonna answer. Per.
That's true. But like I'm not responding to text. I'd be real bad at responding to text sometimes. Like, and it don't even be like on purpose. It'll just be like I'm finna get back to this, and I just
And you never do.
poof.
That's why you call people. I prefer
Realistically,
calling and FaceTiming.
realistically, like I tell people, like, you can text me, but if I don't respond, just call me. Just
Yeah.
call me. Just call
There's
me.
no ill intent. We
That's-
just.
I'm not trying to shade nobody. I'm just forgetful.
Yeah.
I'm realistically just forgetful. So
I concur.
just.
He's getting old, folks, so you have
Nah,
to see
I
it.
am. Memories leaving me. You know what I'm saying? I've had a bad memory for a while though. You know what's crazy? I'll forget something that someone told me yesterday. But like, you play one of them songs by Lil Wayne that I heard.
And he's gonna remember.
I'm gonna
it.
remember all the lyrics. You know what I mean? So
Shout out Lil Wayne.
shout out to Weezy. Can we talk about your creative capabilities?
Okay, what about them?
What do you? We talked about dancing a little bit. You can
Mhm.
sing.
Sure.
You can sing. How do those outlets help you get to know yourself, express yourself, etc.?
Dancing is, I think, the biggest one for me.
Uh-huh.
Or I think it's the one that I'm most comfortable with in public, which is why I do it most.
Mhm.
It definitely has helped me to like express myself in a way that um, words don't allow. Going back to that whole Caribbean dancing type thing, like I love doing that. Afrobeats became my second love. I'm actually going to class after this.
Come on now.
Yeah. Shout out Showtime. Um, yeah, and I think that especially like singing because it's not just singing, songwriting as well. And so like when I write songs, like I always end up expressing how I feel in that moment. I don't even realize. You've seen and heard some of my songs before. We won't talk about them now,
I'd
but
like to hear more. Put something out. I can't talk though.
no, literally, literally out here talking about me. Put something out. You first, then I go next.
Oh, get to it.
Me too.
You know how many songs I have?
A lot, a lot.
Crazy. Anyway, it's not about
Let
me.
your guard down.
Chip.
Let your greatness. Sorry.
Show.
That's my favorite one.
We've only heard like 3 of them.
No, I've heard more.
Not really.
Maybe not the ones that you want me to hear.
Which ones do you think I want you to hear?
I don't know. Yeah. So back to the conversation. So a lot of the songs that I've written are like poem type songs. You know, like I'm like a pop, soul, slow type
Mm-hmm.
singer. Am I a singer? I don't know. Creative. So like that really helps. Art Painting. I love to paint and draw as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I do like a lot of like cartoony characters, which is really nice. It's calming. It allows me to honestly like bring my brain back to like a mellow mood. Dance doesn't do that. Dance gets me hype.
Mm-hmm.
Even if I'm doing like ballet, I did ballet also for like 7 years.
Damn.
Yeah.
What didn't you do? She didn't hoop.
I did not hoop. I did netball.
Fucking Jamaican.
I did netball. I did netball. I did not play the drums.
We could teach you.
Okay. Stop looking at me like that. Right.
I'm not allowed to look at my guests. This is crazy. See, I'm getting bullied on my own podcast. Wow. I told you. Hater. Anyway.
Yeah. So I don't know. Like the creatives has been something that I've been more recently exploring, just because I was, for one, singing. You know my background when it comes to singing. I was told that I wasn't a good singer, and so like I suppressed my ability to sing, and perform for a really, really, really long time. And something happened, and so I decided to do a open mic night. Remember that?
I do.
Shout out Jesse Reyes for Figures. I sang that song, and like ever since then, it was like more
She
like,
said something happened.
"Hey mom, how you doing?" But then after that, like the Housing Day videos,
Mm-hmm.
like even the Adams Housing Day video, like that first lit one, like my voice was in that, and I wasn't even at Adams' house yet. That's how crazy it was.
Mm-hmm.
And then
I wonder why.
take up some licking. No, wait, no, this is violence on camera actually.
I keep. This is proof that my claim.
I'm living proof for the mercy of God can do.
Amen.
Amen. So yeah, and then like Christmas show comes around and I'm singing Santa Baby, in public, in the dining hall, and then Black graduation comes around. They're like, yeah, Cody, sing a song, in front of like all these people and their parents, and it felt good to realize or to see that my voice is being recognized. To this day, I'm still not comfortable with like my voice being like out in the open. I'm comfortable singing like with you because you've helped me grow in that light, and I'm actually grateful for that.
Aw.
I am grateful for that. But yeah, to put out a song right now, I don't know. I wouldn't put out a type of song that I would write right now. I'd probably put out some like type of dancehall / Jamaican type thing, because I want to like appeal to the Jamaican people and then maybe expand. But
That actually is a really interesting point about when it comes to creating, especially like for me, not right. Most of the time it's like really on some like I'm really expressing myself. But every so often, and that's like the type of stuff where I'm like, oof, I wouldn't want to put this out for real.
no, literally.
This is a little bit too like personal.
Oh, someone can put out my business on a podcast, but they can't put their business in one song.
I mean, I can. It's there. I just, what I'm saying?
Double standards.
I ain't been in the studio enough, really, realistically, because I'll go to the studio every so often, record something, but it's a long process to like record, mix, you know what I'm saying, all that stuff. So that's usually where stuff just kind of falls by the wayside for me.
But you do open mic night.
Yeah, I slide on all the open mics, like, you know what I'm saying. I don't have a problem performing.
Okay.
Like, I do like to perform. I like to be in front of people. I like to entertain.
Ego.
So that's never an issue for me. So I slide to the open mics. It's like, again, it's more so the process of recording just takes a lot of time. It's like, you can't do everything. I always say this, you can't do everything. I be doing a lot of stuff, can't do everything.
Yeah.
Right? I would love to like spend more time playing the drums. Just can't do everything. So, but for me, sometimes I feel like the stuff, if I were to put out music, like, would I want to make music in the style that I like I'm real like on some calm lyrical neo soul vibes type, but like nobody want to listen to that. So it's like I could go make a song and rap about some stuff that ain't really my life,
and people will listen to
you
it.
get what I'm saying? So it's always for me that kind of how personal do I want to make this versus how much do I want it to appeal to others,
Right.
But I don't know, one of these days
Maybe one day.
it's gonna happen. I got too much I'm sitting on. I feel like I'm nice. So anywho, time check. Let's rap.
Let's rap.
Let's rap. Nah, go ahead. Spit on.
I can't spit nothing.
You can.
Not at all. I can spit some Cardi B.
Do it.
No.
Press.
You think you're funny?
I'm hilarious. Anyway, final thoughts. Where are you at right now? What are you excited for? What are you, you know what I'm saying? What's bringing you, causing anxiety? Like, what are you nervous about?
I am both excited and nervous about medical school. I've given where I'm gonna go to God, so I'm not really worried about like my decision, the decision I have to make, because like the only deciding factor is literally up to like it's out of my
Yeah.
hands. I can't control that. I'm excited to like learn about like the human body and how I'm able to like help other people. I'm excited to learn about the ways I can sort of lessen the disparities in healthcare, especially when it comes to Black people and how they're treated by some of our physicians, unfortunately. I'm excited for the summer. You know, we're about to be outside, all the barbecues, all the events. I'm gonna be there. Um, I'm not excited for moving. Moving is always
It's a hassle.
a hassle. Um, yeah, I'm not really anxious about anything right now. I'm
I
like
love that for you.
like the peace
I like that.
which surpasses all understanding is guarding my heart.
Amen. Take it to church.
Shout out to Jesus.
Shout out to Jesus. What a lovely conversation this has been. I appreciate your openness and honesty. I know this was hard for you.
Not hard for hot gal.
Whatever. If people want to connect with you, you're on Instagram.
Wagwan people don't know say it's your girl Cody. Back at it again. Please follow me on all socials. Everybody. Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, MySpace, Skype, Uvu, Kick at CODIANN REID, Codi Ann Reid on everything.
Nigga said kick. You're hilarious.
You don't use Kick? BB Messenger.
I used to. Shout out to Kid got a lot of mileage back in middle school. Low-key problematic. But anyway, y'all know where to find me at. Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, _TrevWoods. The podcast, Instagram and TikTok at the Global Renaissance Pod. You know what I'm saying? Leave a review, like the video. Y'all know the deal. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. I appreciate you for coming on.
You're welcome.
I'll catch y'all on the next episode.